to episode 274 when I make autistic YouTube video contents. And if you're watching this for the first time, my name is David. I'm from Melbourne, Australia. I have autism, I have some speech difficulty, a speech impairment, and a speech impairment, and Asperger's syndrome, and that's why I call myself an Aspie. And now, before I get into the main point of this video content, it's just going to be a recap on episode 217, when I had uploaded Autism and Rejection on the 25th of January 2022. This was just my life story on how I was rejected from my same age peers back in the days of high school, causing me to miss out on the importance of building up my social skills that was most needed for my early adulthood, when nightclubs was a rite of passage for adults aged from 18 to 25 years old. I just thought I'd like to continue the story, what nightclubbing phase was like as a young adult who was living on autism spectrum, especially going through my high school days, facing a lot of rejection from my peers. And before I get into the actual story, I called this one I Was Socially Frustrated, as my explanation on how being rejected from my high school peers had impacted on my social interaction with any same age peers from the age of 18 to 22 who were engaged with nightclubs, really loved hanging out nightclubs, dancing to all this symphony pop and all that techno and all that dance music under all these high-tech disco lights, especially how they used to fill up some of the nightclubs with smoke to get this real laser beam effect. Considering at a time then, when I was, say, like in my late teens, my early 20s, I really loved all that symphony pop, all that commercial dance, and all that techno. When I did go out to nightclubs, this did not go down well for me, as much as the time I really loved going out to nightclubs. I had failed to develop the right social cues in order to be safe in nightclubs, considering that those nightclubs were very wild and dangerous, especially if there's going to be a lot of music like all your symphony pop and all your techno. It's just, once you find yourself that you do not have the friends to keep you safe in those nightclubbing environments, you do indeed feel very frustrated that you're not part of the scene, especially whether you're on your Walkman or at home, that you listen to a lot of symphony pop and a lot of techno. And this is how I describe one example of what social frustration is. That I was just socially frustrated that I just didn't have the friends who can keep me safe at these nightclubbing environments. So like, I do not intend to keep you for too long, so like I hadn't made another short video based on my Walk With Me adventures to tell you a story about how I was socially frustrated as a 21-year-old. Anyway, let's just get this rolling from Aspie with Attitude. I just hope you enjoyed this short video. I am going to base my life story from the year 1998 up until early 2003, when I did experience social frustrations. It's just like in episode 217 how my story of rejection was explained. Now it's just time to take it away. After my days of attending high school and being rejected from my peers in the same year level, this had all escalated into social frustrations. I was never given a fair chance to know my peers outside of school hours, face to face, and hang out with them. By 1998, when I was 18 years old as a young adult, I just loved listening to the latest dance music and the latest techno. As rejection did continue, those peers hated the latest dance music and the latest techno music that I was listening to. However it is, they still went out to nightclubs and still not invited me on these big night outs, despite they were playing all these music at the nightclubs. As my social frustrations grew, more I felt like that I had missed out on the fun that every 18 and 19 year olds love to engage with, which was nightclubbing. When I was 19 years old in 1999 and out of high school, I still had no one to go out to nightclubs with, since those were wild places, and I was told that there were no places for individuals who are on the autism spectrum. But I loved the music and the disco lights those nightclubs had. Not only that, I wanted to dance some of my nights away. Not only that, I also felt rejected from my same age peers from high school, and I'm talking about the ones who I could trust, those who never took drugs like ecstasy and were more streetwise, and my social frustrations had just grew. When I was 20 years old, by year 2000, I had resorted to going out to nightclubs all by myself, since I had refused to miss out on those rite passages that most 18 and 19-year-olds had been going through. As a young adult, going out to dance at nightclubs had brought me a lot of joy and happiness. However it is, going out alone in those wild places by myself was just too dangerous and too unsafe, and I had no idea that I had a target on my back for any thugs and criminals who did engage with night clubbing. I had risked my life to self-regulate after experiencing rejection from my peers in high school. If I never went to any of my dances, my social frustrations just continued to grow and escalate. It was on the 13th of July 2001. My time going out to nightclubs had ran out after I was beaten up and attacked at a dangerous nightclub, as I had explained this in episode 186, which was called When I Was Beat Up. Even after the attack at a nightclub, throughout 2002, I was forced from my parents to decline on any social invitations I had received from my same age peers from high school to go out to nightclubs, despite they were the people who rejected me through our high school days. I was even threatened by my father that if I insisted on going out to nightclubs, even with those friends of mine, I was going to be kicked out of home. So as I suffered from social frustrations, my mental health also began to suffer. I did finally turn away from listening to techno and dance music, and I was locked up in my bedroom listening to Eminem repeatedly all night, while my mates and my friends had all the fun dancing their nights away at a nightclub. It was by the time I was 23 years old in 2003, I had joined the Australian hip hop scene, and that in the end had stripped me away from all social frustrations that I've experienced through the time when I was a young adult who just wanted to go out and dance and self-regulate. But I just didn't have the friends to go out with to keep myself safe at night in a nightclub. Dudes. Those were the days when I wanted to dance to the latest symphony pop at nightclubs, just like what you've probably seen in Kylie Minogue music video clips, sometimes that pops up on MTV. Randomly dancing to those techno tunes or these symphony pop tunes back when I was like 21 years old certainly had helped me to self-regulate, especially trying to get over the fact that I was actually socially rejected from my same age peers back in high school, as I've explained this back in episode 217, Autism and Rejection. Nonetheless, those were the darker times when I grew up from the age of 20 up till the age of 23, when my parents needed to control me only to save my life, since it was regularly on the news and it was published in newspapers that there were stories about murders on the dance floor in nightclubs. Whether it's Sydney, Melbourne or Adelaide or Brisbane or Gold Coast, or even in New York or Los Angeles, that doesn't matter. That's how intensively dangerous nightclubs could become, and there were negative vibes. That's all what my mum and my dad used to have to say to me back then. I could even remember getting in trouble for my parents, that I was literally nagging my high school peers about that I wanted to go out night clubbing. It was all over the phone. It was just the same way I was at the time nagged by my parents. to keep away from those nightclubs since I had been told it's all just negative vibes. It was, at its core, I just never had the same social cues as my peers from high school had in order to handle going out to nightclubs and religiously coming home safe and happy, full of joy after being out all night, dancing the night away to that techno nor that symphony pop tunes. Well, however it is though, like, if you had a chance to check out episode 186, when I did explain how I was attacked at a nightclub on Melbourne's notorious King Street, when I was out by myself at one of these R&B Fridays. Well, it's a 20-minute long video that may interest you to talk about how did it feel when I was actually attacked by thugs in the dunnies, just over my jewellery that I should not have been wearing in the first place. Since that, I was kind of mimicking everything that I saw on NTV and its music clips. After that, I permanently lost my potential lifetime friendship from my peers in high school. That was due to my social frustrations, and I was being jealous that their parents never overprotected them. So like, I'm just glad that those days are gone, and especially the days of social rejection and social frustrations are now long gone. And I can't believe this is 2023 when I'm 43 years old, and me being 43 years old was the same age as when my parents had to lecture, counsel me about how much negative vibes that nightclubs had. And I just can't believe that I'm actually making this video now. Well, anyway, so like, I think I'm just getting off the topic here. And please, don't forget to subscribe to Aspie for Attitude if you really like what I'm doing. That's all I ever ask for in terms of support, just nothing else. There's always this notification bell that you can ring if you want to keep up to date with Aspie for Attitude. And one more thing you can do is to please like and share this video content. Then otherwise, it's showing more support for this video content. If you'd like to see around for this rusty, colourful special effects that I had made for this video. So like, this is just my artwork to express my frustration, and I had to try to mimic a bit of a techno I used to dance to, when I was 21 years old. And also, what I reckon has really made me go out to nightclubs by myself and be out of my mind, pretty much, I reckon it all started with my life story as explained back in episode 217, when no one did want to be my friend back in high school. So anyway, like, all I can do for a happy ending for this video is just a fidget spin nose trick. And I just hope you enjoyed what I'm doing, and that's just life. So like, glad to be 43 years old and still alive. Peace and respect, and see you next time. And whatever happy memories I generate from both my nightclubbing days and the days of being a famous rapper in Melbourne, I'm just going to run away with my happy memories, and I'll just say, see you next time.